All right, welcome to another episode of Let There Be Talk. It is number 700. Fuck. It's number 702. It's June 19th, and it is a Monday. How are you guys? And thank you for joining the show. Lots to talk about today. A lot of new records out. All kinds of other stuff going on. I got some touring happening. And happy late Father's Day for all you fathers out there. I am the father of Gertie. I mean, not technically, but I'm Gertie's dad. I'm Gertie's dad. But how are you guys? Did you have a good weekend? Had a great weekend. Lots of shows. Was out doing comedy all over Los Angeles. Comedy Store. The Improv, Flappers. Where else was I? There's a room that's kind of popping off right now called the Bourbon Room. Did a show there Friday night. Me, Ian Edwards. Who else was on that? The Sklar Brothers, Jeselnik, and Theo Vaughn. Great lineup. Oh, Melissa Villasenor. Great lineup and great room. Used to be the CineSpace, which was kind of like a club that had showed movies while you were in there. I remember Jesse James had his premiere there for that fantastic BMX documentary called Joe Kid on a Stingray. And it's still one of my favorite documentaries. If you've never seen it, do yourself a favor and tune into that. It is just smoking, but I had a great memory. We all rode our West Coast choppers down to CineSpace. It's on Hollywood Boulevard, right around the corner from where I do the Bon Scott tribute. And we just lined up all of our West Coast choppers. It was a sight to see. There was like 20 of them. That was back when Bill Dodge still worked at West Coast Choppers, and he was debuting one of the best choppers I've ever seen called Count Chocula. It was fucking incredible. Still one of my favorite choppers. There's like 5 choppers that I think are the greatest of all time. And Count Chocula was definitely a crushing vision. It was a root beer brown heavy metal flake West Coast chopper. It was El Diablo, which was he had the CFL. He had the Dragon, which was the first soft tails. And then he went to the El Diablo, which is kind of the one that Kid Rock and Jesse rode on that show where they rode to Mexico. Anyway, he showed up. I had never seen Count Chocula. And Bill Wall, who's one of the greatest leather workers in Los Angeles and in America, pretty much, made the seat. I'm pretty sure he made the seat with somebody else, but it had a big Count Chocula on the seat. And I just thought that was fucking so cool. Count Chocula, one of my old school favorite cereals, and just a great memory. Boo Berry, Count Chocula, Frankenberry. I think that's the 3. Was there one more? I love those. Count Chocula, Boo Berry, and Frankenberry. Just killer. Man, cereal was cool when I was growing up. You get a fucking prize in there? That was so insane. You would get a toy inside your fucking cereal. As soon as you got it home, you just fucking opened it up, threw your dirty fucking hand down inside there. No washing. Pulled out some dumb little yo-yo or bogus magic trick thing. Anyway, so they all lined up. My top 5 favorite choppers, I would say this is what they are. And I've rode a few and owned a few. Count Chocula, the Sturgis special that Jesse rode on that ride to Sturgis. That thing just fucking killed. Blue with the green flames. And then the Chongo Blanco, the rusty one, which I had. and Death Dealer, which I had. Death Dealer, I still think to this day is the best riding chopper I had because it was a 2-up with apes and mid controls. I feel all choppers have to have mid controls. That's just how it is. If it's a hardtail, you need to be able to stand up on the controls when big ass fucking potholes and bumps are coming up, or you're just going to get your ass jackhammered and your lower back. That's why you see all those old school bikers. They're like 70 and they're just walking like, hey, oh, it sucks to be old. You fucking kids with your shocks. That is insane. Anyway, so, okay, what is that? It's Death Dealer. It's Chongo Blanco, the rusted bike. It's Count Chocula. It's the Sturgis Special. And then Indian Larry's bike with the twisted down tube. I think those are pretty much the 5 greatest choppers. Although I've never rode or really got to really see it up close, is James Hetfield's Papa Het bike, which is a knuckle, and it's a very small West Coast chopper, 2-up, just crusher. I just, I just had such nostalgia when I went to this venue to do some comedy. I was just like, bam, it hit me. I was like, God, man, there's choppers out here. And it was such a time, that whole chopper thing. And I've, over the years, have interviewed everybody that I really respected in that chopper game. Roland Sands, which, oh, by the way, I did not include one of Roland's bikes. And I do believe that Roland is, out of the, Jesse and Roland to me are probably right there equal. Jesse just doing the classic outlaw crushing bikes. But Roland Sands would always go the extra mile, man. Just crazy. His imagination and his wizardry on changing like a KTM bike into something crazy, or getting a BMW and turning it into this, and they're all rideable. That's the thing. These bikes are all rideable. Those OCCs, that Orange County chopper stuff, and then all that other chopper shit that came with the 300 back tires and all that bullshit. I've clowned on it enough, It was an era, and I get it. The unridables is what I call them. Most people are like, yeah, dude, look at this. Got a fucking 350 rear tire. Yeah, I took it off my tractor. The unridables, you try to go into a turn and you just won't fucking turn and you crash. I do like Jesse's, what's that fucking one bike called? Oh God, I'm drawing a blank on it. Oh shit, I can't remember, but he also has another frame that I had, and Dominator. God, I almost lost it. The Dominator is a killer riding bike if you have mid controls and a 200 tire. His first Dominators had 280 tires, too big. And I get it. He was, delivering stuff that people wanted. They wanted the big tire. Anyway, that's how I start the show, with a little fucking memory lane. I was in there doing comedy, just thinking about those old times. Good weekend of comedy, about to hit the road. Going to be out with Bill Burr all this week. Tonight at the Troubadour, it's going to be epic to do comedy in the Troubadour with Bill. It's a incredible venue, and I would say it's probably my best favorite venue in LA. I would say for sure. I don't know why, but it's just got this vibe, and that old Eagles and Elton John history and Linda Ronstadt. And they've just kept it the same, It's just so cool to think about. But we're there tonight. And then we catch a red eye out Wednesday, and we do some shows on the East Coast. They're all on the website. Looking forward to that. Some wild arenas. And in between that, I'll be headlining all over. I'm doing a week in Vegas at the Cellar. And I'm doing Utah finally. Finally getting to go do Utah headlining at a new club out there, Boxcar Comedy. And I'm doing Flyover Comedy Festival. I think it's in St. Louis. These are all this year. They're on the website. So anyway, welcome to the show. and it's great to have you here. This is a solo episode, and I enjoy doing the solo episodes, and it seems like you guys are digging them, and I really appreciate you guys for being here every week. Couple things I want to get into right away. Right away. I saw the Wes Anderson film on Friday. Mr. Matt Dillon, not name dropping because I don't know him. I just follow him on Instagram, and I've been trying to get him on this podcast for, we're going on almost 12 years now. Matt Dillon being one of my favorite all-time actors. And Matt Dillon's kind of just done it right. He's been in Hollywood working in movies since he was like, I don't know how old he was on Over the Edge. But if you have not seen Over the Edge, what are you doing? It's one of the classic teen angst films. And I feel it doesn't get enough glory. And it was really the movie that combined rock and roll, BMX, juvenile delinquents, and long hair. Just radical. And it's a movie that turned me on to Cheap Trick, but it's basically about this suburbs that they build outside of LA, and kids move there with their parents. And then it just becomes this insanity. The kids just rebel against the suburb living. And I can totally relate to that. As a kid, you're just like, yeah, man, fuck the suburbs. I want to be in the city. I want to be around art and radicals. But Matt Dillon, it's just unreal. He's been famous, but he's never really been super huge. It's kind of like how Philip Seymour was until he did Capote. Philip Seymour was one of those guys. He'd be in films and you'd be like, that one guy? And he would just come into the movie and fucking steal the film. So Matt Dillon, just a longtime fan of his. And it's interesting. I got some friends that know him, and I've been trying to get him on. It's just has not happened. He's on a TV show right now called High Desert, which is on Peacock, I believe. And that's getting great reviews. And he's on the new Wes Anderson film. My favorite Matt Dillon, hands down, is Drugstore Cowboy. And that is just a goddamn masterpiece. And, I saw Matt and talked to him for 1 minute a few years ago. I guess it was like 5 years ago. He did that. I tell you, he did one of the scariest serial killer films. It was so gnarly. They made it rated X. And The House That Jack Built. And it actually was the first movie that kind of fucked with me, other than The Exorcist when I was a kid. But that's when you're a kid. You go see The Exorcist, you're like, oh, I'm scared. Leave the light on. But this is more like, this serial killer film is so twisted. And you're hearing this from a man who watched Dahmer and Night Stalker, and I'm sure a lot of you guys did. And that's disturbing because you're going, these were real fucking people in our past. That is so insane. Dahmer and Night Stalker, these fucking people. But this movie, The House That Jack Built, it's gross. And it's scary, and it's crazy. So anyway, Drugstore Cowboy, House That Jack Built, and then the all-time masterpiece, Outsiders. Now, he's done a ton of films. Flamingo Kid. I could sit here and roll through his credits. That's not what it's about. I'm just amazed how, he never got the DUIs. He didn't overdose somewhere. He was a child actor. All the child actors in my lifetime spun out, just became lunatics or died, River Phoenix, all these guys that were celebrities. Even we were talking about it on Adam Carolla, Danny Bonaducci, like he got cuckoo, and Keith Partridge, any child star. I think you make all this money and you're fucking, you become a huge star. And then all of a sudden they don't want you anymore most of the time because you're not cute anymore. They're like, nah, you look weird now. And that's what happened to that incredible actor from Bad News Bears, Jackie Earle Haley. Oh my God, he's such a great actor. He left acting, then came back and just dominated it, being Freddy Krueger. He was in that other film that he got nominated Academy Award for. But Matt Dillon's kept it together the entire fucking career. And he's way into art. He paints, he takes photos. I think he fucking spends a lot of his time in France, from what I can tell on his Instagram. The guy's a killer. The guy is a killer. Something About Mary. All of a sudden people are, whoa, Matt Dillon can do comedy? Anyway, he's in the new Wes Anderson. And really what this is about is Wes Anderson. I've been a huge Wes Anderson fan from the early days, all those early films, Bottle Rocket. And, he was popping off in that indie world back when they used to have a ton of indie films. I've talked about it before, Drugstore Cowboy being another one. He didn't do that. But my point is there would be these indie films and you would go see them because you weren't into the blockbuster bullshit like myself. And now it's just superhero. And then once in a while, a Wes Anderson film will drop, or a David Lynch film will drop, or the Coen brothers will drop a film, stuff like that. A No Country for Old Men, a There Will Be Blood, Asteroid City, which is the new Wes Anderson film. Wes Anderson really blew my mind beyond with the Royal Tenenbaums. When I saw that movie, I was so blown away because it was a perfect piece of art. It was just a masterpiece film. And all of the performances and the actors just killed it. Gwyneth Paltrow, just early on, crazy, cuts her finger off or whatever, chopping wood. Just all these weird side stories that would tangle into the main story. That's what I loved about Wes Anderson. Just really absurd, obscure, weird references, incredible fashion, smoking music, always killing it. And Wes Anderson being a fucking weird ass cool dude too. Spike Jonze, another guy. Roman Coppola, all these guys, man, they just seem to deliver some of the greatest shit I've ever seen for years and years. And I cannot thank Wes Anderson enough for the entertainment and the influence of design and filmmaking and sets and everything. So my favorites, Tenenbaums, Life Aquatic, Moonrise Kingdom. And then the rest of them I just love and find them entertaining. But those are the crown jewels for me. And then I love that Isle of Dog, or that one. I like the cartoon Incredible Mr. Fox. I remember when I saw Incredible Mr. Fox for like a month, I couldn't stop talking about it. It was claymation. And I love claymation. Everybody knows I love Gumby. I talked about it many times on the podcast. I love Gumby. I love claymation. I love Mr. Bill. I love all kinds of weird shit like that. But Incredible Mr. Fox, anywhere. It was early on when I started comedy. And I'd be out late night at diners with comics, and I'd be like, dude, you guys see Incredible Mr. Fox? I was that guy. And they'd be like, yeah, man, quit talking about it. You already talked about it. I'm like, well, fucking go see it. Why aren't you guys seeing it? That's how I feel about this podcast. I'm like, you got to just tell your friends till they fucking go crazy. You listening to Let There Be Talk or what? How are you not listening to Let There Be Talk? You listen to these other fucking podcasts. This one's been on 11 years and it's fucking good. You should listen to Let There Be Talk. Dean Del Rey. You got to make them fucking crazy. Anyway, so the reason I brought up Matt Dillon was I follow him on Instagram, and then I got this DM that said Matt is doing a buyout at the Sunset 5, which is my favorite movie theater in LA, because they don't let anybody in under 21. So there's no fucking tools in there, just fucking making noise and texting and shit. And I, for years and years and years, would go to this movie theater on Monday or Tuesdays, usually Tuesday, because they have the $5 movie. And I'd go right at 11:30 in the morning. There'd be no one in there, and I would enjoy a movie together. Which, matter of fact, I went to see, I think it was the Radiohead documentary at this particular theater. Same style, in the morning by myself. And I sat down, and then the only other guy in the movie theater was Matt Dillon. And he came in, and then he sat next to me, not right next to me, but in the same row. And I was like, I looked at him like, at first I looked over, I go, this fucking Matt Dillon. And then I was like, wait, there's the whole theater in here. But yeah, I think he said something like, well, I mean, it's weird anywhere else, I can't remember what he said, but he said something funny, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But God, I did that memory is so funny. But this is my favorite movie theater. So Matt Dillon did a buyout, and then they decked out the entire movie theater in the sets of the movie Asteroid City. They had all the sets and outfits in there, and you could take pictures and everything. And there was people dressed up in other characters from other Wes Anderson films. And people take that shit fucking, to another limit, like a level. I mean, like a Rocky Horror Picture Show style, they show up dressed in the Tenenbaums, like the sweatsuits, or they show up in Moonrise Kingdom in like Cub Scout outfits, or it's fucking cool. And it's really something that I could relate to. I don't find it weird at all. I could easily slip into that, showing up in my sweatsuit and headband, like I'm part of that family, the Tenenbaums. It's like those people at Disneyland that dress as the characters, walking around Disneyland as the characters. What the fuck? Anyway, so I show up, and it was like 5 PM, and I didn't have a spot till I think 9:30. So it was perfect. I showed up. They give you free food and shit at these things. I don't eat any of that stuff anymore, but I did have a little popcorn and snuck in a coffee. You can't ever bring in your coffee. So I just kind of put it in my jacket. I'm taking a risk of it spilling. Which, by the way, yesterday I got a coffee and I got in the car, and the fucking asshole didn't put the top on all the way. Oh, I wanted to fucking murder this guy. I get in my car and the top pops off, and the coffee just burns my fucking balls and leg, like full lawsuit mode. And I was going to do a spot. I had to go home and change. Almost missed my fucking spot. Just hot coffee all over the fucking Prius. Gertie's looking at me like, Oh my God. Fuck, man. You work at a coffee shop. You're dealing with fucking hot shit. Put the top on. What are you fucking doing? Oh, man. That's when I root for the robots. They're thinking, oh, we're going to have robots take these jobs. I'm like, at that point, I was rooting for the robots. I was like, I don't think the robot would fuck up. And if the robot did fuck up, I wouldn't feel bad, because I'd go in there and just fucking smash the robot. Can't go in and smash the employee. He probably smoked a couple bong hits. He's making no money. He doesn't even want to work there. I get it. Just dealing with people all day. I said fucking decaf, dude. This is caffeinated. I'm shaking in my fucking boots like an old Vietnam vet. I'm cooking down Sunset here with the shakes. Sorry, dude. Sorry, man. Anyway, so the movie, I saw Asteroid City. And it's not bad, and it's not his best. But that's the thing about Wes Anderson. Now, this is just my thoughts. You might love it, Asteroid City. I loved, if the movie story isn't great with Wes Anderson, you're like, well, I can just, enjoy all this other shit, like the acting that's going on. Scarlett Johansson just crushing it on this film. And he has every star. If they won an Academy Award, he's like, you're in my movie. There's like 18 stars, which, by the way, the poster is hilarious for Asteroid City. It doesn't mention any of the stars. It just says Asteroid City. And then it's got like a kid on a rocket pack. And then it says written by Wes Anderson, directed by Wes Anderson, screenplay by Wes Anderson. Everything is Wes Anderson on the poster. I'm like, easy, dude. And then co-written by Roma Coppola, real small, but it's like Wes Anderson. I'm like, all right, dude, we get it. You did it all. Just put written, directed, and screenplay Wes Anderson. One thing, one name right there. And then, and then Roma Coppola, not Wes Anderson. I can imagine him, they're doing the poster. He's like, hey, man, I need my name on there. They're like, it's right here. Yeah, but I need it on again. I need all 3 credits. I want to get the Screen Actors Guild healthcare. I want to get the Writers Guild healthcare and retirement. And I want to get the Directors Guild healthcare and retirement. Anyway, so the movie is fun and it looks amazing. And I just cannot believe when I see his movies, especially this one, I'm like, how the fuck do you do that? How do you, nobody else is making films that look like this. How do you do that? It's just insane. It opens with this train going through the desert and you're like, look at this. I fucking love this. Like, I think it would be so rad to have Wes Anderson direct my comedy special. Of course it would be rad. It would be mind-boggling, but this is a dream. And then basically, if you're watching this on YouTube, you see my backdrop right now. It would be cool that as I'm telling jokes, he would change the backgrounds and shit that go with the jokes. Like if I was telling a joke about the Elton John concert, now you're in the Elton John concert, but looking weird like this, like his films do. Because you're like, wait, is that real world or is it a set? Is it a model? Is it a green screen? What is that? I can't fucking figure it out. Is it just in a big warehouse and they build these funky, almost cartoony Flintstone looking sets? It's wild. It'd be so cool to have him just direct a comedy special. Not in my fucking special. Anyway, so I saw that. There's a lot of movies out finally. And I want to see Mission because I love Tom Cruise. And I've said it over and over years on here. He gets trashed. He's a Scientologist weirdo. He jumped on the couch. Who gives a fuck? This motherfucker's basically saved the movie industry. Every time he drops a movie, they're like, oh, thank you, Tom. Your movie made more money than 40 of the movies out. And it's not a superhero film, which is great. Inception's one of the greatest. Magnolia's a crusher. Fucking Risky Business. This guy, another dude that, other than what you think of as Scientology and shit, other than that, he never fucked up on drugs or drunk drivings or anything. He's a lunatic. But I'm really fired up to see this Mission. I think it's the last one. And I must have watched, and if you haven't watched it, him shoot the motorcycle stunt. It's on YouTube and on his Instagram. I watched it about 40 times. You're talking about a guy who does all his own stunts, and it's just mind-boggling. I think he's around my age. And I just cannot believe what the fuck he does. That one where he's holding on to the side of the plane when they took off and they show you he's really doing it. Get out of here. Just, oh, the other one in Dubai where he's on the side of the fucking building, the highest building in Dubai. And this one where he does the motorcycle jump and the director's like, cut. He's like, it was perfect. We got it. And Tom's like, I think I could hold on to the motorcycle a little longer. He does this death stunt. It is scary as fuck. If you've ever skydived, I skydived twice. That's scary. But then he's riding a motorcycle like 100 miles an hour, making Evel Knievel look like a beginner, jumping, flying off a cliff, holding onto the bike, then letting go of the bike and dropping out a chute. He does it like 10 times in a row. What the fuck? Unbelievable. So I'm fired up to see Mission. I don't know anything about Flash because I don't fuck around with superheroes. I remember the original Flash movie with Queen doing the soundtrack. Flash, Flash, dun, 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 Flash, Flash. I remember Queen toured that record. They played Oakland Coliseum. So wild. But I don't know anything about Flash, but I do want to see Mission. And I saw Wes Anderson's film. And now I'll have to wait another couple of years for another Wes Anderson. And why I saw this Wes Anderson film, I forgot to say, I did not know that during COVID, this is how out of the movie world I was during COVID. Nobody knows what's out at all, even right now. And I'm doing a bit about it, like you don't know you show up at the theater, like, what do you got? And the guy's like, I don't know, try movie theater 3. But Wes Anderson put out a film during COVID, the French one. I had no idea about it until Kevin Christie was like, it's my favorite. Have you seen it? I was like, I didn't even fucking know about it because I was busy not trying to die from the deadly plague that people don't think exists that I got twice. The flu. You got the flu. Oh, man. I don't know about that. I can't breathe and I can't see and I got a fever for 7 days. I'm fucking dying. Anyway, so there's some movies out right now and looking forward to seeing Mission. I'll probably see it. I might see it on the road with Burr. That'll be cool. During the day, we got a day off. Just go see Mission. What else is happening? I want to give a heads up to Jesse Malin, who is a friend of mine, D Generation. Of course, Jesse Malin, played in the great rock band D Generation, had the rock club in New York, Coney Island. He did the podcast. Bill and I did his benefit with Jacob Dylan's sister-in-law for Crohn's. I got a long history of friendship with Jesse Malin. He's an incredible singer, songwriter. Springsteen played on one of his fucking records. What a dream that is. He's basically what I would call the Prince of New York, man. The guy has been waving the rock and roll flag his entire life. He's a lifer like myself. He's out there doing art at the highest level and recently had a horrific thing happen to him. And I've never heard of this happening, but it has happened to him. He is back. I guess his back or something in his spine had a stroke. From what I read in Rolling Stone magazine. Now, I reached out to him. I haven't heard from him. And of course, I understand that. But there's a GoFundMe, and I will post it again on the Patreon and my Instagram DMs. This is horrific. He cannot walk. Just out of nowhere, his legs don't work. He went to like a dinner memorial for a friend who passed away. He ate dinner and he got up and he couldn't walk. He can't move. He was in the hospital. Now they've got him in some kind of rehab place in New York City. And I'm going to try to go see him while I'm in New York in 2 weeks and just say hi. And I, you can donate. I have the, actually, let me get it right now, because I want you guys to be able to donate to this. It is just awful. It is awful, and you never know what could happen to you, and you need good friends out there. Now, Jesse has amazing friends. Nobody doesn't like this guy. You know, if something happened to me, I'd probably have about 15 people, and the rest would be like, fuck them. But excuse me. Let me see here. I want to get this because I want you guys to be able to donate to it. And it's just horrible. I just I feel so bad. So here it is. You can donate at sweetrelief.org and / Jesse Malin Fund. Sweetrelief.org / Jesse Malin Fund. And it is just awful. And you can also text to donate. JESSE, text Jesse to 53-555. Okay? That's text Jesse, JESSE, to 53-555. You can text. It's really easy. You can also mail in your stuff, or you can call 949-215-9620. Okay. And I just can't even tell you how awful this is, man. And it's really I can't even say it's part of aging, because I really don't know, you know, if it's a freak thing, if it's what it is. Did he have some kind of spasms in the back that turn into shocking the spine? I don't know. I've had my own neck issues where my whole left side of my body was numb. So I know it's no fucking joke. When your health goes away, it is all of a sudden everything sucks and nothing matters except trying to get your health together. Like when I got diabetes. Recently, I just went and got I get a physical every year. If you don't do this, I've said it before, what are you fucking doing? They have some of the best technology. And why aren't you using it? If you have healthcare. Now, if you don't, like I didn't have healthcare for years, I understand. You're just fucked. You got to roll the dice and wake up each day and go, holy shit, I made another day. But if you have healthcare, why are you not fucking using it? This is just insane. Why aren't you getting your colonoscopy? Why aren't you getting your physicals? Why aren't you getting your cholesterol checked and your blood pressure and all that? I just don't understand it. Because once you wait too long, you're just dead. That's just all there is to it. And they have all this great shit. Recently, I got a physical. My doctor, Dr. On, said, you should get a calcium score. Like a calcium score. What the fuck is that? And I thought it was this when about 5-6 years ago, I remember Marin got this thing where they shoot dye into your heart and then they can look inside your heart really well. And I thought it was that, but it's not that. Now, years ago, I thought I had a heart attack, but it was a panic attack. It was my first one ever. But when they looked at my heart, they did a sonogram of my heart. I'll never forget that. You just go in. It's like, when they're checking the woman when she's having a baby, they can do a sonogram and see what they're having. They're like, oh, there's the dick right there. It's a boy. Look at that dick. And then the dad goes, yeah, man, he's a hump. So I got a sonogram of my heart like 6-7 years ago, I remember. And the guy just rolled this machine and he put some gel on your tit and then he rubs this thing on. And all of a sudden it's like, he's like, you want to hear it? I'm like, not really. And he turns it up and it's just, he's like, listen to that, huh? I'm like, hey, dude, I don't fucking want to hear that. That's fucking scary. Hearing your body. I mean, I heard my heart many nights laying in bed, high on coke, trying to sleep, going, please don't let me die. It's just, but this is with the juices, the blood going through, just imagine you're listening to it and all of a sudden it just goes and stops. Oh my God. Anyway, I didn't know what a calcium score is. So I enjoy kind of learning stuff as I'm getting older because you just don't know how long you got. And the calcium score will kind of help you. You know, you hear about these people with these things, the widow makers, where you're just walking around and boom, the guy had a heart attack. He instantly died in the Trader Joe's over in the cereal aisle. He's reaching for the fucking Tostios and bam. So my doctor's like, you know, your cholesterol's good. It's everything's good, but you're at that age. You should get a calcium score just to know what's going on. I go, I don't know what that is. So I go get a calcium score. And it's basically like looks like an MRI machine, but it's a round donut. It's not a tube, so you don't have to go in the tube, and it doesn't fucking sound like a broke down rocket falling out of space like an MRI does. So you go and you just lay on this bed, and then it just kind of shoots you through the tube like 3 times. You go through and it's like, do not move, do not move, do not move. Then it slides out. Then it goes back in, do not move, do not move. They're like, this shit is crazy. Who the fuck invented this thing? Every time I'm in a doctor's office, I'm like, how is that thing not called the Larry? Whoever the guy is that put it together. Yeah, that's the Stan and Larry machine. I invent the fucking calcium scan or the MRI. It's got to be my name. The Dean machine, right? Yeah, you got to go down and get your eyes checked with the Dean machine. If you invent something that fucking monumental, you should put his name on it. Put his fucking name on that thing. You know? How are you going to call it the calcium score? Fuck that. Make it the fucking Steve and Larry or whatever the guy's names that fucking stayed up for 6 years and, you know, got divorced because they were never home. They're constantly working on the fucking giant donut that looks at your heart. And what it does is it can check. Hold on, I want to get this right because I want you guys to go get it done if you're over 50 because it's painless. It's nothing to it. Dude, I was in there for like 6 minutes. I was gone. But what it does is it basically it checks for evidence of calcium in your coronary arteries. And basically it gives you a score, okay? This means you have coronary artery disease if you have like, you know, these high scores. And this is one of the scary things that happened to me. So the doctor emailed me and he told me my score. He goes, your score is 50. But he doesn't fucking, these doctors, man, call. Don't fucking email people, man. This is something you don't email. You don't email people on somebody died that you know close. You don't email people's fucking, you know, health scores and diagnosis. You know, it said basically, Dean, your score is 50. And hold on, I'll tell you exactly what he said. This is how fucking dumb doctors are. When you email somebody their fucking results, you got to be like, hey, it's 50, but don't worry, that's pretty fucking good at your age. Okay? He doesn't. Here's what he writes. Your calcium score is 50 on the CT scan, which is in the 50th percentile. The fuck does that mean? This means that if your cholesterol was elevated at all, you would have to go on a cholesterol lowering medication to reduce your risk of plaque buildup. Please send me your cholesterol test results from your doctor. Okay, that sounds like he's he's telling me what it is. But I was like, is this bad? Like 50? What is it? 50 out of 100? Is it 50 out of 58? Is it 50 out of 5,000? Well, it turns out it's 50 out of 1,000. Okay. So I'm looking, and I never Google test results because I don't want to freak myself out. I'd rather talk to the doctor. Okay. But so it's a weekend now and I can't call him. So I'm backstage at a show last night, and this woman's in there and she's about my age. Maybe she's a little younger, comedian. And I go, yeah, I just got a calcium score. And she goes, oh yeah, what was it? I go, 50. And she goes like this, 50? Like I should be dead right now in the green room. Like, how are you even alive? That was her response. 50? I go, yeah, what? She goes, mine was 4. And I'm like, 4? She must be talking about a different fucking test because, 50. So now in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I think it's really bad. And he just didn't tell me. Why wouldn't he tell me? The way she answered, all of a sudden she's the expert in my mind, right? I'm going to be dead on the drive home. I can't even believe I just told jokes. I didn't die. 50? Whoa. So I go home and I go, fuck this. I got to Google it. I can't sleep. I really couldn't sleep. So here it is. Anything above 0, anything, means there's some evidence of coronary artery disease, which I was thinking, if you had 0, you haven't eaten anything in your life. I would like to meet a person that has zero plaque at my age, 57. What the fuck, 0? Now, she said she was 4. If that's real, that's pretty fucking good. Because they said 1 through 10 is chances almost of none to get a heart attack in the next 5 years. Now, 100 or less, which I'm 50, 100 or less, mild proof of coronary artery disease. Mild. So this fucking woman, wrong response. Man, I was mad. Now, over 100 up to 400. Now, remember, I'm 50, not years old, but my score is 50. There's people walking around up to 400. And that's only moderate amount of proof that you have some plaque. Above 400, strong proof. So I'm only at 50. So I'm like, hey, man, I'm doing pretty fucking good. I'm still going to change some things because I'm going to talk to the doctor tomorrow and see if I can bring it down like I did diabetes. Is there a way to eliminate that shit? I'm reading, walnuts, avocados, salmon, stuff like that. I got to lay off at this age now. I can't be doing steak all the time and barbecue like I've been burning it up for years. I'll fuck up some barbecue, man. Barbecue is absolutely my cocaine. So I'm looking forward to talking to him and finding out what I can do. But basically, it's said, and everything I'm doing it's what I'm doing is fine, Exercise more often. I go to the gym every fucking day except Sunday. Make changes to your diet. I made changes when I quit sugar. They're like, don't be eating sugar. Don't be eating high fats. Stay off the fucking salt. I don't fuck with salt at all. I never understood people that fuck with salt. You ever see a guy, you go out to dinner, they get the salt and they're just fucking hammering for about a good 3 or 4 minutes, like they're rubbing one out, just shaking the fuck out of the salt. Or the same people that pour a half gallon of sugar into their coffee. Look, you don't like coffee. I know you need caffeine to wake up in the morning, but just get one of those fucking energy drinks that tastes like Kool-Aid instead of pouring a gallon of sugar into your coffee. You don't like coffee. I drink my coffee black. They're like, how? I go, it tastes great. I can't drink Starbucks coffee black. splash a little oat milk in there because that tastes like fucking burnt shit. But a good coffee, like a Blue Bottle or any high-end coffee shop, just tastes fantastic. It's like a rich, dark, chocolatey coffee flavor. Anyway, so and then it says get more tests, have more follow-up visits, and keep an eye on it. And so there it is, calcium score, man. Never heard of it. Glad they have this machine. And I'm glad I'm not too fucking far off because I think, I always tell people, when they're like shitting on another comedian, fuck that guy. Fucking, he's not funny or anything. I think, man, I don't have any enemies in the comedy world. Now, maybe people don't like me or my work drive or my ethic or there's those people out there that get jealous, like, fuck him, man. I don't have that. I never had that. I'm not competing with anybody except fucking myself, trying to get myself funnier. My only enemies, and I've said it the last 10 years, are heart attacks and cancer. And man, heart attacks are scary as fuck to me because I did a lot of cocaine when I was young, and a lot of speed and a lot of fucking drinking. And that shit, I was lucky to get out. And I always say I didn't overdose and die when I was young, but those drugs are going to get you later on if you're not constantly fucking trying to keep it together. You're going to go into the doctor one day and he's going to go, yeah, you see that black spot right there? You're like, yeah. And he's like, that's your partying from 80s, 90s, With me, I can't remember, 92, I think I quit partying. So I always think my heart took a fucking beating. I've told that story before, the numb arm at the GNR, Axel playing November Rain on the piano at the Tiemann Mansion in Laurel Canyon. That thing took some fucking time off my heart. And, it's I just looked it up yesterday. It's Father's Day. My dad died of heart attack at 79. Now I don't know what kind of fucking working out or anything he did because we did not talk. My mom died at 78, and which was just a little while ago, and she had a small heart attack, but she didn't work out at all, and she had diabetes, and so. I try to keep myself healthy, and I've said it before. I know it's super hard. If you're not happy in life, it's impossible to keep yourself healthy because you're gonna just eat shit. Instead of eating shit now, I fucking shop on eBay, and then I go, look, I got a house full of shit. What am I doing? So, I don't know. Nobody's guaranteed how long you're gonna live, but if I got 78, 79, let's say, that's not too fucking long left. So I'm trying not to, I'm trying to extend it. I don't know why I'm trying to extend it. I think maybe just so I can see how this planet ends. Let's see how this motherfucker goes up. Anyway, episode is brought to you by Ergo. Speaking of health, ears are fried. I'm sure yours are too if you listen to this podcast. Everybody's got bad hearing. Just the world is loud now. It's way fucking loud. Car stereos are 100 times louder than they were when I was a kid. We all are walking around with headphones on all the time, just blasting. Cars are loud in general, motorcycles, rock concerts, everything. Our hearing is fried. Your hearing is going to go, and that is just a fact. And it's time to take the stigma off of hearing aids. I wear glasses right now. No one says shit. They're like, cool glasses. Eventually, people are going to be like, that's a cool hearing aid. And I think Ergo has a cool hearing aid because it goes in, it's small, like the size of a fly, it goes in your ear. You do not see it. And man, your hearing will just come back to life. You can operate it all on your cell phone. Like in the movie theater, I can finally hear movies. I can hear it. And Ergo has a fine hearing aid. You're going to get $360 off of these hearing aids if you use my code DEAN, DEAN 360, the 360, the numbers. DEAN 360. Go to ergo.me/Dean Del Rey. That's EARGO.me. Ergo.me/Dean Del Rey and get $360 off these hearing aids. You don't need a prescription, none of that. They send them to you and then they give you a call and they go through the whole thing on how to set them up. And then you do a hearing test on your phone and bam, you're up and running. They stay charged forever. They got a cool little styling carrying case. You can keep it in your pocket and they're perfect. Ergo.me/Dean Del Rey. Use the code DEAN360. Woo, man. Pat Sajak, speaking of age, is finally retiring from the Wheel of Fortune. And I started thinking about that, man. What a gig. This guy has been on Wheel of Fortune since I was a fucking kid. I didn't look how many years because I didn't need to. I know Pat Sajak and Vanna White have been hosting this goddamn fucking game show their entire lives almost. And I was just thinking, talk about a kick-ass job. Now, look, I know he's burnt on it. There's no way he's not burnt on it. But in his mind, he's also got to think like, man, I went down, auditioned for this game show 100 years ago, got it, and Vanna and I have been on this fucking show forever. And I was just thinking, what a fucking crazy gig. A game show host, there's only a handful of people that could say, I was a game show host for 30 years. There's very, very little game shows around right now. And the ones they have are just repeats of the old ones like Family Feud and all of those, Family Feud, Crusher, and Family Feud and Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy. You get some weird ass shit. You ever see those Wheel of Fortunes where it looks like, it almost looks like something like he takes it in the ass. And it's something like it's in the air tonight or whatever. And the guy will say it, he takes it in the ass. Like Pat Sajak will be like, what? Or the Family Feud. I saw one, what was it? Names that start with, I think it was like names that start with H. And this guy said, Jose. I can't remember. But, over the years, the bloopers from these game shows are fucking insane, man. And they will make you laugh more than any comedian you'll ever see. Every time you watch it and you just go like, I can't believe it. Anyway, Sajak's going to retire. That is wild, man. They should do a documentary on that guy. And him and Vanna, and just talk about what that life was like, showing up every day. I don't know what lot they shoot it on, but I'm sure it's here in LA on one of the lots like CBS or something. And maybe they shoot like 3 a day, so he only has to go once a week. That's how they do all those game shows. What's that other one that the dude's on, the comedian, Price is Right. What's his name? He's a comedian. I know him. I can't fucking think of his name right now. Carrie something. Anyway, that's another game show. I think they shoot like 2 or 3 in a day or something. Anyway, Pat Sajak, man. Good job, dude. You're out there fucking go get your calcium score and go hit a goddamn island and never look back. Turn off your phone, get your money, and go enjoy an island and just sip some margaritas, do some swimming, get yourself a dog, and turn it off, man. You won. You were on TV your entire fucking life. It is wild. I started thinking about, would I host a game show? because a game show is kind of like, I don't know what kind of, I'm not knocking it at all because it's a good gig, but I'm saying if you were a comedian or a musician, now if you were, I don't know, Pat Sajak, I don't know what he did before that. Was he a weatherman? If you're like a weatherman or newsman or something, and then they offer you to do this gig as a, game show host, I can get it. But if you're like a comedian or something and you start to host a game show, is there any creativity in that? I don't really think so. There is, you're riffing, like the one dude that does the fucking Family Feud is so goddamn funny, man. It was at Montel or something. I can't remember, but he is fucking lightning speed with that crowd work, man. But is there any kind of creativity other than riffing with the guests? And I don't think I could host a game show, even though I could use the money. But that's another one of those things where you're selling your dream and your creative process and your everything that you hope for some job security. And if I wanted that, I would probably just I don't know, I'd get in the watch world, or I sold motorcycles, but I know you just burn out on all that. I sold motorcycles, and after a while, you're like, all right, I'm over there. I got to get back into the creative world, man. It was fun while it happened, and I made some good money and had healthcare. But after a while, I'm like, nah, I got this fucking itch, and so I don't know if I could host a game show. I would do it if it was some kind of cool music game show or something like that, and I could still do comedy at night, and they weren't like, we heard a joke you told, so we're going to have to fucking fire you. They try to get you to sign some fucking paperwork saying you won't do any edgy jokes. And it's like, nah, I'm out. Because now I'm working for the man. I'm working for the man. The advertisers, the big budget advertising money. Anyway, Pat Sajak, though. Hats off, man. Let me see. I'll tell you what. I want to see what the fuck Pat Sajak did. Cool name, too, right? Pat Sajak. I've never met a Sajak. Let's see what he did. Oh, first of all, look at his net worth. I bet he's got a lot of money. Man, they got photos of him. He's real young. He's 76 years old. Fuck, man, that guy looks great. That gig must be zero stress. He just looks killer. He's worth 70 million, which, by the way, that's always wrong. Sometime I said it before, but one time my dad, who, we never talked, I guess he hit that celebritynetworth.com and I typed in my name, and then it said, worth 7 million. And he just emailed me one night, 7 million. Nice. It's like 7 million. I think they meant to say $7,000. Pat Sajak is married twice. Let's see what the fuck this guy did before. You guys are like, I don't give a fuck what he did, man. Get to the records. I want to hear music. I want to hear what you talk about. He's got 19 nominations for daytime Emmys. Just a smoker. Early life, born in Chicago. Graduated high school, then went to Columbia College, Chicago, while working as a desk clerk at the Palmer House Hotel. Served in the Army. He was in the troops. He served for the country. He's a hero, as Bill would say. We got another one of our heroes. Oh, he was in the Army as a disc jockey. You fucking guy during the Vietnam War. He was that Good Morning Vietnam, that fucking Robin Williams. Good Morning Vietnam. Sajak hosted the same Dawn Busters radio show that Adrian Croner had, and the 14 months followed to Croner's tradition of signing on with Good Morning Vietnam. Who's that? That's the dude. That's fucking hilarious. He won a contest on WLS, became a guest teen DJ. He started out as a fucking DJ. There it is. So he fucking won the lottery, man. He was just a radio DJ, and then he was a armed forces DJ, and then he what's this? Sajak admitted to botching President Richard Nixon's 1969 Christmas broadcast to the troops. He accidentally cut the feed off prematurely. Upon realizing the error, Sajak decided it would be best not to resume the feed. In the early 70s, he DJ'd for a year for Murray, Kentucky radio station. Yeah, so he's like a DJ. Oh, then there it is. Look, became a weatherman, just like I thought. Then he became a news anchor and the NBC LA News. Wow. This is, oh, no. Sorry, I got that wrong. Somebody from the LA News spotted Sajak working in Nashville and got him out to LA. 81, Merv Griffin, who's the fucking king, asked Sajak if he would be interested in taking over the duties of Wheel of Fortune from Chuck Woolery, who was a fucking killer. Remember him, that Love Connection show? That show was fucking crazy. You'd send these people out on some dates and then hear their dates. Oh my God, that show was fucking funny. My mom and I loved it. Oh, God. Anyway, the president CEO of NBC rejected hiring Sajak. Wow, this is crazy. And then eventually hired him. God, so that was in what year? 1981. Anyway, pretty fucking wild. Rock and roll. Sajak had a small role as a Buffalo, New York newscaster in Airplane 2. Oh, God, those Airplane movies are so fucking funny. Okay, that's enough of Sajak, right? You guys are like, look, man, we did fucking 15 minutes of Sajak. What is this solo episode, man? Tell some fucking funny shit or get into music. That's what's going on in my head right now. I'm thinking that's what you guys are thinking as you're listening to it on your way to your fucking job or the gym or whatever. Great records came out Friday. It has been an onslaught of music over the last month. And starting for me with that Avenged Sevenfold record. And now, of course, the king, Josh Homme, has dropped another masterpiece, his new Queens of the Stone Age record. And it is just unreal in times of New Roman. This song, Carnivore, it is so fucking good. Now listen, this record is one of those ones you got to keep listening to it because you're going to be like, oh my God, this is my favorite. Oh no, this has become my favorite. This record has so much depth. I'm just kind of like, oh God, this thing is a crusher. Oh my God, I can't believe it. It is so good. Now I've had it for a couple weeks, but I really didn't dig in hard until it was released because when they send me the advance, it's this funky system where you got to sign in each time, drop a password so you don't share it with anybody. And it's difficult to listen to. But now the record's out and I just rocked it nonstop. Paper Machete, killer video, killer song. Carnivore, crushing. What the Peephole Says, Sicily, Emotion Sickness is a masterpiece also. Straight Jacket Fitted, 48 minutes, 10 songs. Josh Homme has got another masterpiece under his belt. Very, very cool record. Somebody said it sounds like something that could have came out between Rated R and Songs from the Deaf, and I could agree with that. The guitar tones are unbelievable. Troy Van Leeuwen crushing it. John Theodore on the drums, just delivering masterful grooves. And of course, Josh is singing a lot of Bowie-ish flavor on this record. And it's funny because at that at that Taylor Hawkins, memorial tribute, he did Let's Dance, and he sounded exact to Bowie. So I know there's a lot of Bowie love in his blood right now. And my buddy Joey was talking about how much influence really it seems that over the years that Chris Goss really laid on all of these desert guys. Chris Goss of Masters of Reality, who I think is the godfather of the desert sound. I still think Chris Goss and those first two Masters of Reality records are some of the best music that I've ever heard. And it's really, really cool to hear the lineage of these two humans, Josh and Chris Goss. They, when I was around during Songs of the Deaf. My buddy Casey took me down to the studio. I watched them record some of Songs from the Deaf. I believe it was at Conway. I remember being there. They were tracking, and Nick Oliveri was like just laying down vocals, and we were hanging out. Chris Goss was there, and that whole magic energy. And it has spilled over the years through all of the work of these guys. It's amazing how original Josh Homme sounds. It is beyond me what is going on with the originality. Nobody. He sounds like nobody. Chris Goss sounds like nobody. They are so original, and the art is at the highest level. The lyrics on this record, what Josh has been through with the cancer diagnosis and the divorce, and just a fucking, all of the wrath that he takes. It's unreal how strong this man is, and he's an influence to me. And his level of art is mind-blowing to me. His songs, his singing, his guitar playing. There's no generic standard riffs. There's no bullshit on any Queens. Even the last record he did, Villains. If you didn't like that, I liked a lot of it, and I thought it was amazing that he went somewhere else. Now here he is dropping this record. He is the David Lynch, the Wes Anderson, the Coen brothers, the Coppola of rock and roll. He just makes something that you look forward to, and you're so happy that it is out in the world. And I'm looking forward to seeing these songs live. I've been watching some clips. They're over in Europe touring right now, and it's just unbelievable. I'll tell you this, a couple other records came out on Friday that are mind-boggling. This King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard record, who I don't know why people constantly recommend this band to me. I've been listening to them for years. I've seen them live many times. I've tried to get them on the podcast a few times. It's not worked. But this is another band that is mind-boggling to me, how great they are and how original they sound and how prolific they are, constantly putting out records, constantly touring. And this record is unreal. First of all, it has the dumbest name, man. The title of the record is so fucking long that, it's not dumb, but it's like, what are you doing? Dragonic Apocalypse, or Dawn of Eternal Night, and annihilation of planet Earth and the beginnings of merciless damnation. Now, look, I'm not stupid. I know how to read. That's just how slow it's scrolling when you pop it up on the streaming platforms. It's just this long fucking album title. It's up there with that one that Fiona Apple had that one time. It was just like blah, 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 blah. It's a fucking album title. What are you doing? That's not going to be on the cover. The cover, by the way, is fucking beautiful. You can't. Can you see it? Let's see. You can't fucking see it. There it is. It's just a badass fucking lizard with the end of the world. Looks like just nuclear plants blowing black soot in the sky to breathe in. This record crushes. Queens of the Stone Age and King Gizzard drop records on the same day, and your head just blows off. All right? And then my friend Nick Perry and the Underground Thieves, who I had Nick Perry on a few years ago, he dropped a new record. And he is a goddamn soldier out there. He's been, doing rock and roll on his own terms, paying for the record himself, selling all his equipment to keep paying for it, recorded it at home. He moved out of LA to move somewhere cheaper. I think he moved back home to like Pennsylvania or something like that. And he puts out this, I think it's a double record. It's 14 songs. And he drops a record. And I'm not going to lie, the first song I did not like. And I was like, uh-oh. Is he chasing a war on drugs sound? What's going on? This is because I loved Nick Perry's last record, and it had that Pink Floyd kind of cool desert psychedelic weird sound. But then I get to the second, third, fourth, fifth song, 6, 7, 8, all the way up to 8. That's where I'm at right now on this record because there's so many records this weekend. But I Won't Change. Great fucking song, Nick Perry. Modern Man. This record is really fucking interesting, man. And it is really unique sounding. And his guitar playing and singing, this guy can play the fuck out of the guitar. His singing is amazing. The record's called Terra Firma, Terra, and then second word firma, in case you can't spell like me. Album cover looks amazing. And now I'm all the way up to the track 8, but I'm telling you, dig into this. It has got something special to it. And I'm looking forward on my long flight out to the East Coast to listen to the rest of it, you know? So those are the records out right now that I'm absolutely loving. I want to give a shout out to the new Patreoner back to return again, Kevin Connell. Thank you for joining the Patreon, patreon.com/Dean Del Rey. For bonus episodes and Zooms. I've been hanging out on Zoom lately with a lot of people on Patreon. That's been fun as shit. Very good. And tour dates, DeanDelRey.com. Also, don't forget, you're looking for a custom guitar. I'm going to leave you with this. Banker Guitars. Go to Mr. Banker on Instagram. Tell Matt I sent you. Get yourself a custom boutique guitar. Buy the best. This guy is the best out there making custom Carina V's, Carina Explorers. I just saw that he made Mastodon some more guitars. He also made Marcus King some more guitars. He's got this incredible gold V that he just finished that blows my mind. He's doing arch top V's. The guy is next level. His guitars are smoking. Mr. Banker, bankerguitar.com. Go see him, call him, tell him Dean Del Rey sent you. Do yourself a favor. I love all you guys. I will see you out on the road. Thank you for tuning in again. And tell a friend about the podcast. Leave a review on Instagram. Please leave a review. A couple people left a review last week, 2. Look, that doesn't sound like a lot, but 2 keeps it up in the top 50 on iTunes. Leave a review. Hey, I like this guy. He talked a little too much about Pat Sajak. I don't know what the fuck that's about. But other than that, he taps into some weirdness. And, now I'm digging down into some Pat Sajak rabbit holes. Thank you for turning me on to the Sajak. I don't know. I'm out of my mind. Tour dates, DeanDelRey.com. See you out on the road. Candles are lit.